seat of power than the way they will defend Nigeria. And there are many, many factors that points to this. Okay? Your constitution was written for you by the military. There was never any referendum to vote on the constitution that ushered in your democracy. That's the beginning, to let you know. But then when you now read the constitution, one man, one person is the most powerful person in the country, and he is the president. He's so powerful that the federation that you practice or you pretend to be practicing, or federation, capital, federal capital, then federating units. No, they are just like the branches of the executives. A federation means all the federating units will be independent. Federating state will be independent of the federal. They will be they will be generating their own money and be paying taxes to the center. The center can also come into some of these places to also generate their own taxes. So, but guess what? You are not going to be a subordinate of any president. Your constitution is a unitary constitution. It is not a democratic constitution. A democratic constitution means people will write it, people will review it, people will vote on it, yes or no, before it becomes the law. But they are ruling you with a fake law, a fake constitution. Because if it was a kind of like a true federation, right? If Nigeria was a true federation, these things that are now popping up, resource control, self-defense, and whatever other things that are popping up, this tribalism, ethnicism, religious supremacy, pushing Sharia left and right, all those things, right? They would have been sorted a long time ago. Because by then, it simply means each state, independent states in that federating unit, that federation, right? Each independent state can decide how they want to run their state, as long as it sort of like complies with the general law that governs everyone to some extent. You get that now? Oh no, they didn't do that. They just ushered you in, pretended that you have a democracy. And that is why today in your democracy, you cannot gather without the blessing of those in power. Meanwhile, in your constitution, it is written there that you can gather peacefully, protest peacefully. Nobody, in fact, police were supposed to protect you. But that's not true. That's not the reality, because it is written in your law, but it is not being practicalized because you don't have a democracy. Insecurity. Tinubu Salah Yayi also jumped in the conversation. So listen.
Well, Mr. President, let me quickly correct one or two impressions. Number one, at no point have you guide any senator from saying anything he or she wants to say on the floor of the Senate. I've not witnessed one, I've not seen one, and I've not heard of one. So that needs to be clear. At no point have you teleguided any senator from saying anything on this issue. Number two, at no point has any senator, either from either side of the aisle, have been on any side on this particular motion that is currently before us. We are on the same page. We all believe that the security of this nation is sacrosanct, and every one of us are concerned concerning the current situation of security as far as the country is concerned. Mr. President, on this note, let me commend the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for at least ensuring the release of the 38 Eruku community in Kwara State and the students of Kebbi State that have been released. I want to commend the President, and I believe that he's doing everything within the ambit of the law to ensure our country, Nigeria, is secure. Mr. President, I want us to know in this Senate that Nigeria is at war. Nigeria is at war because these terrorists, the Islamabad, the Boko Haram, and all others are not known to our system. They are not known to our system. They are not Nigerians. They are not Nigerians. They are coming into this country to disrupt the peace of our country. And again, we can finger international conspiracy in all of this, because there are some videos that you will see helicopter dropping arms in some pickup van. Where is that helicopter coming from? Who owns those vans? So, Mr. President, Nigeria is at war and international conspiracy is involved. So we should all understand that, and we should not trivialize this matter. Because at 2024, the security report before us shows that we have the lowest number of kidnapping and insecurity in Nigeria. 2024. And by November 2025, everywhere is agog with kidnappings and banditries and everywhere. So, Mr. President, I'm calling on my colleague. Please, let's keep an open mind on this matter. Let's speak to the truth of this matter. Let's address this issue as a Nigerian. It's the collective responsibility of everybody for this country to be well secured. And I mean it and I say it, so that nobody should come and say that anybody on this side of the and women of the Nigerian military, because they are father and mother of a particular family, they are father and mother to some children. So if they are on the war front defending this nation, the integrity and the sovereignty of this country, I think they need to be commended. I commend them. And for the investigation which we are carrying out on the issue of Kebbi, since Sunday morning, these terrorists notify that they are coming to that school. So deploying military, leaving by 1 o'clock, it should be an holistic investigation. There's something going on social media now. They are even announcing the next town, villages they are coming to. We should not just put it by the side. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I believe this Senate will have taken the bull by the horn. The only thing is that we should expedite action on the security summit we are putting together. We should expedite action on it. We should move fast. Because if we have any position paper, if we have any document to put together to give to the executive, the action must start now, and we must do it as soon as possible. I so submit.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
The first thing you're going to ask yourself is that why was it screaming? Because it's empty. And as a sycophant himself, right? He needed to put energy into it by just saying nonsense. So let's take a look at what he said. Just a few of them. Initially, he disputed another colleague of his who said in that Senate where Akpabiole ruled, right? It is known that Akpabiole is always pretty much on this side of Tinubu, the executive. So preventing the Senate from doing its job as the ones that will be, doing the checks and balances on the executives, right? So that was what he's responding to. But at the same time, he categorically said Nigeria is at war. He didn't lie about that. Also, probing the military, because they're compromised, of course, right? The incident that happened in Kebbi, where they had military around the area and they got withdrawn from the area a few hours before the attack. Meanwhile, the terrorists have already said they were coming to attack. And the children were taken, right, for about 5-6 days. Then they got released. There was no arrest. Meanwhile, when they took these children in Kebbi, they killed their teacher. You know what I mean now? Like, that's a crime. So he pointed that out. So Nigeria is at war with who? These terrorists. If Tinubu is doing his best, how do you know he's doing his best? When you are actually waiting for the next victims. That's not doing your best. Now, if those who are seen as saboteurs, like your military, those who have been suspected to have either breached any form of intel or order or whatever, so automatically in the military setting, there is kind of like a system to how to touch people. But how do you halt such people when the entire place is crawling, yeah, with them? Anyway, for the Senate, right? Yayi, who wants to be governor of Ogun State in 2027, that's in 2 years' time. So he is an ally of Tinubu, and therefore he would never admit that if Tinubu's military or his service chiefs are not up to the task, right? So Tinubu is the only person who could actually decide what to do with them, rather than continue to say they are doing well, they are doing their best, and the blah, the blah, the blah. So he also said there is an international hand in all of this. Now, a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in my own opinion, should be more equipped with, facts, because if a senator in Nigeria is aware that there is an international conspiracy against Nigeria, right, where he said, oh, Nigeria was rated as the country with least kidnappings in 2024. Who rated Nigeria then? You get what I mean now? So to him, Donald Trump wading into this, and then immediately after his tweet, these kidnappings continues, like just escalated and all of that. In his own mind, there is this conspiracy against Nigeria. But the point now is this, is the conspiracy against Nigeria coming from Nigerians themselves, or it is coming from the outer, the external factor that he's saying? Well, I don't know your own conspiracy, by the way, but here is a guy who is a northerner and a former senator himself, and also somebody who is in the book of Tinubu right now. But he categorically admitted to it. I said, well, let's stop pretending. These terrorists, they are northerners. They speak Kanuri, they speak Hausa, they speak other languages that we speak, and the blah, the blah. Listen.
The terrorists killing people in northeastern part of Nigeria are not from Congo. They are not from Malawi. They are not from Namibia. They are not from Egypt. They are northerners and they are Muslims. The bandits in the northwestern part of Nigeria, they are not from Senegal. They are not from Mali. They are not from Morocco. They are not from Guinea or Guinea-Bissau. They are Fulanis from the northwestern part of Nigeria. So it is for us to solve the problem. It is not for anybody to solve the problem. They are not speaking Chinese, they are speaking Fulani language. They are not speaking Spanish, they are speaking Hausa language. They are not speaking Mandarin, they are speaking Kanuri languages. When will the North sit down and address the whole of these bandits and terrorists? Are not more than 5,000 people.
Well, maybe he's wrong on that one. They are more than 5,000. They are in fact more than 50,000. They have a community of them, like all over. So, except that. But yeah, they are Muslims. They are Fulanis. They are from the northwest of Nigeria. They are from the northeast of Nigeria, Boko Haram and the rest of them. Yeah, they have their allies. They are also joined them from this Chad and what have you. But these ones, terrorizing people, threatening people, they are actually kids. Watch this video. This one is actually threatening a farmer who is currently harvesting from his farm, right? And this little boy brought his cows, right, onto the farm to graze on that farm that they're harvesting. And when the farmer protested, this little boy actually threatened to kill the farmer. In Hausa,
kace zaka sassara wani wa zaka sara yanzu anan wa zaka wanda yazo buge ka mu buge ka akan me zamu buge ka da an maka magana an ce kai mutane banna kai kai mutane banna kana nufin kai kana nufin ka mutane banna ba za a yi ma magana ba ba za a ce kana banna ba Yanzu kai a ina muke iskancin mu. Waye mu? To kai ma aka je wani za ka yi magana? Eh? Wato yanzu na kana ganin kai nan ka kai kenan za ka zo kai mana rashin kunya. To ka zo ka sara wanda za ka sara. Da cire addan naka ka sara. A'a ya ce zai sassare mu ko? To ya cire addan ya sari wanda zai sara. Ka cire addan mu ga mu duka sassare mu. Ba kana maganan adda za ka cire baka sare mu to ka sari wanda za ka sara ga muna. Ka sari wanda za ka sara. Tunda ka ce kai ka fi kowa zafin rai ka sari wanda za ka sara. Ga addan nan cire. Waye bugan ma dabba? Ba wanda ya bugan ma dabba. Inda ka ce za ka sare mu ne. Duk wanda za ka sara ka sara. Duk wanda za ka sara ka zo ka sara. Ba ka sara za ka yi ba ka zo ka cire addan naka ka zo ka sara. Lalle yaro. Ai so nake ka cire addan naka ka sara wanda za ka saran.
A little boy, do you really think if those boys have guns, right, the story will still be the same? No. Yeah, you're right. Somebody just pointed out and said, under Bukwari, they told us that these terrorists, these Fulani terrorists are not they were not Nigerians. They said they were from Chad, Niger, and all these places. So when we started probing that, how did they get into Nigeria? And how did they get so deep into Nigeria that they are kidnapping people in the southern part of Nigeria, collecting ransoms? Oh, they said, yeah, it's because of the war in Libya. It was because of that. After the removal of Gaddafi, the same story they were telling us about Boko Haram, remember? So they told the same story for this Fulani terrorist. Then like jokes like Joko, that story of them not being Nigerians changed. And they said, oh, for peace to reign, the fight in Nigeria is farmers others clashes. Farmers others clashes. What does that even mean? Like, the others not have their own place they were grazing and all that, like before now. So how come that we're now seeing videos of these same others carrying AK-47 gun, right? And at the same time, uprooting people's farm produce and feeding them to their cows. How is that about looking for green grass to graze on? They said, oh, for the solution now, we have to allow open grazing. So Boko Haram started looking for grazing routes from 1941. Oh, there was a grazing route in 1941. I said, are you mad? How could Fulani have grazing routes in Yoruba land, for example, that they say, oh, this land, oh, this path, oh, is for Fulanis? How could you have, how could the Igbos have Fulani land in Igbo land and say, this path, oh, nationally, on Fulani get them, because they have to graze their cows? Where did you sign that arrangement? They did everything. They blackmailed us. They gaslighted us. They called us. They threatened us. Then they changed that. They said, okay, you know what? We are just going to make laws. If all of you are not going to give them land for peace, we'll just make laws and take all the waterways in Nigeria, as well as 10 miles. Do you remember that time when they are doing the waterway bill, right? Boko Haram was going to take over all the waterways in Nigeria, and not just the waterways. You see, the land, the bank of the river or any water in Nigeria, from the bank of that river or that water, you now count 10 miles away. 10 miles, so that's like about 14 or 13 kilometers of land. So that land will belong to the federal government of Nigeria. So we raised the alarm and said it was the plan to resettle the Fulani terrorists among us legally. So Boko Haram tried, but he didn't succeed before he died. Tinubu said he will continue from where Boko Haram stopped, right now is now dealing with Boko Haram's created problem. He's not willing to actually deal with the problem. He's managing it, unfortunately. So everyone who wants to make you believe that these guys are just outsiders, fine. However, somebody just told us that indeed they are northerners. So if they are northerners, that simply means they came from